Thank you, Frank. 4 minutes after 7 o'clock, 7:04. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. And as we continue on with a little something we've been doing for the last month or so, giving folks an opportunity to meet some of the political candidates in our area, we have the current St. Mary's County Commissioner President Jack Russell in the studio with us.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Thank you for having me here.
Glad to have you here. And
yes.
You've been out, you've been campaigning. How do you campaign and still run the business of the county? Do you find that to be a difficult task?
Yes, it's a distinct challenge. And I like to tell everybody that the job that I've got is the best 70-hour week part-time job one can have.
70?
So you got to mix it in.
Are you really working 70 hours a week as a county commissioner?
Look, you live it, you go to church with it, you go to the store with it.
Somebody's always stopping you and saying, hey, how come you... Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you could be out on the water today, 6-foot waves. That'd be fun, right?
Yes, and oysters are scarce also. So.
Are you going to be at the St. Mary's County Oyster Festival?
Oh, I am, yes.
Excellent.
Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Everybody can get their oyster tooth filled over that weekend.
And we're going to be there from 1 till 3. So
Okay,
we'll see
very
you there
good.
on Saturday.
Good.
So let's talk about county government. Let's talk about the business of the county in St. Mary's County, especially when it comes to economic development. Everybody's talking about, the base.
Yes.
Everybody talks about how it's such a huge economic engine.
Yes.
For Southern Maryland, just not St. Mary's County, but Southern Maryland. And trying to diversify that, trying to bring in more business to St. Mary's County. Now, you were on about a month ago, maybe a little bit more, talking about the UAV program.
Yes.
Down at the airport. How do we expand on that?
Well, that's going to be a big deal, especially once we bring the University of Maryland system here. It goes beyond bricks and mortar. The UAV test site's going to be opened up there, and we're a natural for this type of thing.
Yeah.
At the airport and at Webster Field. It's expanding technology that we do best. Taking technology, move it over into the private sector. It's going to help us create some jobs, diversify our economic base and that sort of thing.
What about manufacturing? Why doesn't anybody talk about manufacturing? I mean,
Well,
I get
look,
technology.
yes.
I understand the importance of technology, but the UAV program also still tied to military a
Yes.
little bit.
Yes.
The University of Maryland, that is excellent education. But what about manufacturing?
Look, we have a small component here in St. Mary's County now. Compass Systems, Mark Panickenstein and them, they make some components for different military applications.
But military, tied to the military.
They do most of that in Pennsylvania. Once we get this down here, we've got packed space. We expand this UAV center here around the airport. It's going to expand our manufacturing component here in St. Mary's County.
So actually building parts, factories.
Yes.
That would be nice.
That'll be a great thing and a way for our future, I see.
Let's talk a little bit about the commission itself. You are the president, of course, of St. Mary's County Commissioners.
You're the only Democrat, too. How's that working for you?
Hey, look, I've managed to get through 2 boards. You create rapport with your fellow commissioners.
Sure.
You share information with them. You understand that you have to have 3 votes to get something done. So you work to that goal. It's a team effort.
So what do you hope to accomplish in this next term?
In this next term, I would hope that we can continue to shepherd our educational system here. We have one of the best schools systems in the county. We get the University of Maryland system down here with the UAV application. That's going to be big for us.
We've been talking to people who are running for a commissioner seat in St. Mary's County. And let's talk about education. Let's talk about the school board and the trouble with the school board. The biggest, budget line item is the schools in
Yes.
St. Mary's County. I mean,
Yes.
schools take up a huge chunk of that money.
Yes.
Somebody dropped the ball. Somebody, I don't know who, at the school board, somebody dropped the ball, and they all of a sudden are, $7 million in debt. They owe it. Then 3 months later, everything is okay. I mean, as a county commissioner, you see that happening to money that you have given to the school board. What's going on in your head?
Well, look, we have to, as county commissioners, weigh all the balances in St. Mary's County. We allocate sources accordingly. Now, we have we're the keeper of the purse, you might say.
Right.
We finally come to grips with how much money we can allocate to the school board. We give it to them, and then we have an elected school board that determines the policy for the schools. So they miscalculated, from what I can understand, on their health care cost.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't take care of first suggestion for health care. It came back to bite them. And these are some of the things it's being a continual learning process that they're going to have to come to grips with, and we got to move on.
What about if the public sees a mismanagement of money, and I say mismanagement, nobody else has said that, when it comes to this whole $300 an hour to try to find the leak in the St. Mary's County. Some company from Delaware is going to come in and try to find the leak, which I just think is comical. I do. I think it's just a joke. But that's me. Can't you as a commissioner say, hold on a second. We're not going to waste another dime of the taxpayer's dollar on this nonsense. I haven't heard a commissioner say that.
Well, we certainly could, but we allocate money up front for...
You didn't allocate it up front, Jack, for this nonsense.
Oh, no, we certainly did not.
Right.
But here again, I have to go back to an elected school board that controls the policy within the school system.
So you have no control over that. Once you give them the money, the control is gone.
Hey, I would not have done this. I mean, if you've got a leak someplace, once you find the leak, what are you going to do with it? Where's it going to go?
Right.
You're going to slap somebody on the
And
wrist or whatever the case.
What do they keep in secret? Don't the parents and the people who pay taxes in St. Mary's County deserve to know what's going on a school board? That's where I'm coming from.
All I can say is that in county government, we try to be as transparent as possible with all things that we deal with. Now, we have some glitches as we work along the way, but transparency, people knowing what's going on, is one of the biggest things that we need to try to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about something that is a constant pebble in my shoe, and that is the infrastructure of Southern Maryland. Specifically the bridges. And I haven't heard any politician, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, I haven't heard politician who's come in here say, well, we've got a plan we're going to do. When are we going to get some decent bridges around here?
When are we going to get a new one down there in Solomon?
I can just give you conjecture from my part, and that is I say that working on the bridge now, we're going to have a new bridge in 18 to 20 years. Now,
18 to 20 years?
We can't.
Long time off.
Yeah,
yes.
really
and we're
long
going to
time off.
continue to have transportation problems over all this time, But we're working in bits and pieces and trying to relieve some of the congestion that we have on the roads. And by the way, when I came up here this morning, it was a little bit unsettling because I witnessed a little bit of road rage myself.
it's all the
when I
time,
came in
yeah.
here.
no.
I mean, no, and I'm not trying to light any fuse or whatever. the
no,
case.
that's okay.
But we have to prepare ourselves for the future. As a matter of fact, the Nice Bridge will probably be built, designed, and built before the Thomas Johnson Bridge.
Oh, absolutely,
Simply
yeah.
because it's coming from a different pot of money. So
Right.
we're going to have a lot of federal money, state money, a lot of grant money and whatnot to get the T.J. Johnson Bridge built, which
You
is
think
going to
that
go
Solomon's
over
Bridge
$1
is gonna-
billion.
You think that Solomon's Bridge is going to make it another 20 years?
Well, it's going to have to make it
No.
another couple years.
I think it's
20
gonna make it
years
another 20 minutes.
with some repairs.
Jack,
Yes.
have you ever taken your boat underneath that bridge?
I have.
And you ever looked up?
Yes.
You go fast, don't you?
Yeah, very disconcerting at
Yes,
times.
yes, it is.
I've had
Not
that.
for anybody traveling on the bridge.
I'm sure
this
it's safe.
morning.
You'll be
It's
fine. Oh, good Lord.
Famous last words. But yeah, we've been under the bridge too on the boat.
I
And
think
it's-
that's a real problem in Southern Maryland. Infrastructure is it's woefully
We're
behind.
growing so
not
fast.
That that's the fault of the commission or anyway. I'm not saying that, but it just doesn't seem. All of these parts seem to have a role in this. We want to create jobs. Well, you want to create jobs, you got to create infrastructure. People have to be able to get to these jobs and get around in a reasonable amount of time. And we don't seem to be, in my opinion, we don't seem to be making any budgets or plans for these things. And then, you say, well, it's going to be 20 years to get a new bridge. I promise you, by the time they build that thing, it's going to be outdated.
Look, I'm just trying to be realistic,
Yeah,
sir,
yeah.
with what we have. Look, and we try to pick up our infrastructure in bits and pieces.
Right.
We've revitalized Patuxent Park. We need to keep St. Mary's County base friendly because, after all, we get 80% of our revenue generated from there. So,
Right.
county government's main responsibility is keep streets safe, good schools. Try to pick our infrastructure up, and which brings me to FDR Boulevard. We need to move along
What
with that.
is the delay on that?
Well, it's been in the process for a long time.
40 years.
And amen, amen. But for the first phase here, we've finally got the last of the pieces of easements that we need to get phase
Okay,
one
good.
done. So
Excellent.
we're moving ahead with this.
Okay.
It's a small part of a plan to try to get some of the community off at 235.
Definitely, because the traffic needs to get off of Route 235. If you can open up FDR, that'd be great. I mean, in the last 8 years, the growth in Southern Maryland has been astronomical.
Yes.
Tons of people coming. In the last 8 years, what are you most proud of that you've done with the county commissioners?
I'm most proud of my role as a leader on 2 different boards of county commissioners and moving St. Mary's County forward. We've kept taxes low. We've controlled the cost that we can control. We've still got a very good school system. We've got good roads. We dedicate money to keep county roads up. And we have a fairly safe community.
Well, let's talk taxes. By the way, we're if you're just tuning in this morning, we're talking with Jack Russell, who is the commissioner president for St. Mary's County, and would like to have another term. Let's talk taxes for a second. Do you see any new taxes coming down the pipe for St. Mary's County?
Look, we as a board of county commissioners, we don't have a lot of say in a lot of the taxes that have been implemented. We don't vote
From
on
the state, right?
on gas tax, guns, or marriage equality. But we do leverage our offices to make things better for St. Mary's County. Now, we have not raised the local rate on property nor income tax in the last 8 years that I've been in office.
What do you think about the coming years?
I don't foresee that we're going to do that either. But we've got a lot of pressures, a lot of community pressures. And if anybody cares to look back, we're just coming out of the worst recession that any of us know in our lifetime.
And some would say we're still in it.
Well, yeah, things are still tough, and I'll be
Right.
first to acknowledge this. I'm married to a lady who runs a small business in St. Mary's County. She has employees to fend for, a lot of regulations and this and that. So things are gradually getting better. I know the economy is still very difficult, and we're trying to address that. But we are also the 5th lowest taxed county in the state. And if we look at all of our mechanisms together, we rank 22nd out of the 24 jurisdictions in Maryland as to the tax burdens that we put on our citizens.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
What would you say to somebody in Annapolis, a senator or a delegate in Annapolis who says, you know what, Jack, you're not taxing your people enough. That's why if you want more money, you need to tax your people more. What would you say to delegates from Annapolis who say that? And they have said that.
We hear this on a regular basis.
Do you really?
We do. But after you've been
From
in
who?
Give us names, Jackson.
Give us names.
And addresses.
from the General Assembly, my friends. But
Okay.
look, we
You're
in
so
office
good.
leverage our office and build relationships, not only to get things done for and in St. Mary's County,
Right.
but we leverage our office to lessen the impacts after some of these mandates are sent down. For an example, we can go to Rich Hall, and he has a lot of problems in St. Mary's County with a lot of things that they do, but I know Rich Hall, we can lobby him grant-wise to lessen the impacts of a lot of things that come down the pike for St. Mary's County.
What's coming down, or what has been instituted from Annapolis that you're just like, we got to deal with this now?
Look, one of the biggest things that I can see over the last few years, they cut our highway user funds. I think around 2007 we got $7 million, and it was cut to $270,000 or $80,000.
Wow.
So we lost almost $7 million of highway user, and then we ended up getting the teacher pension dumped on us.
Yeah.
Exactly
which,
right.
once it's down here, we have to deal with it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's $4 million plus a year.
How do you deal with that?
Well,
$4 million added, a bill that you need to pay. How do you deal with that?
Well, you have to allocate your resources accordingly. We grew probably by 2.4% last year. Though our accessible base is about flat, and everything else is just marginally starting to reach.
So the teachers fund is about $4 million that the commissioners have to come up with?
The teacher pension part of it, which the state was paying,
Right.
and they moved it down to us. So that's an additional $4
The
million.
commissioners don't have to pay it.
The taxpayer,
taxpayer
pay
pays
it.
it.
That's about the same amount that they came up short in the budget, isn't it?
Well, I think they came up with about $6 million short.
$6 million short,
we,
we're not sure.
We last year allocated $3 million over maintenance of effort, but then you still got to find that $4 million.
The teachers don't think you're doing enough, though. I
Well,
mean,
hey,
I've read
and
the
I
letters to the editor with the people from the Education Association, and you're just not doing enough as commissioners. You're not giving enough.
I hear you, but a poor bag
I
of
say
lima
there's-
beans that I like is about $3 a bag now. Used to be $1.25.
Right.
So everybody's feeling the pinch.
Right.
We've just got to contain cost, manage our way through this, and I'm optimistic things are going to get better.
You are
right,
an
all right.
absolute optimist. You really are. How do you stay optimistic all the time?
Hey,
Because I try to bring you down when you come in here, and you don't. You
Look,
stay
you gotta,
optimistic.
You got to somewhere or another pick your zen up and keep it going. I enjoy what I do for the county. We have great staff in St. Mary's County, and that's the biggest thing that we can do as commissioners is putting good people in place to do the right job.
Now, before we let you go out of here, what do you want people to know about Jack Russell before they go to the polls on November 4th?
I want people to know that I have, through very difficult times, led 2 different commissioner boards to consensus on most issues for St. Mary's County, that we have kept tax rates at bay, local tax rates, and we've built relationships to get things done for St. Mary's County.
And you found your zen.
And I've found my zen.
So
I
there
love
you
my
go.
job. And ladies and gentlemen out there, I would humbly ask for your vote. And I thank you all for having me here today.
Always
you,
a pleasure,
Jack.
Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
721.
Hey, for today, showers and possibly a thunderstorm. Some of the